Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Concord Dying.
Good
Are we
evening.
fans that come on edge?
Howdy. I just said hi to howdy.
Hello. On.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Concord you're thinking of as an X-ray.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That Concord was also short-lived, unfortunately.
Live longer than this fucking game.
Yeah, you're not
That's
wrong.
true. Yeah. Hello.
Hey-oh.
Howdy.
What have I been playing? I've been playing a shitload of Escape from Tarkov again. It wiped. It started afresh. The new update has happened. Their oldest map, Factory, has been completely rebuilt. And it looks pretty cool now. But they've also added a bunch of new equipment. The M60's in the game. The Desert Eagle. Everybody loves the Deagle is in the game. So I've been playing a lot of that. I'm also playing Baldur's Gate 3 on my own and with Drifting on Wednesday. So Drifting Light, find her on Twitch as well. And yes, indeed. And I've just been like, I've been playing the game and enjoying it, and then getting to Act 2 where you can't go back and realize I missed something in Act 1. No.
I think you can go back in Act. I think you can go back in Act 2. I think there's just a certain point where you can't.
I don't know if I've hit that point then. I might have to try.
Yeah, I think it's Act 3 where it's like you absolutely cannot go back now.
Yeah. In Act 2,
Apparently,
I
there's
think
an
you
entire
can.
section I just haven't seen yet. So I'm just like, I kind of want to go back and look at it.
I mean, the whole thing is designed so that you have multiple playthroughs, and in each one, you are playing a completely new game.
I still haven't continued where I left off. I keep getting decision paralysis.
Yeah, it happens.
One day we will get you to play for us, and maybe it'll be easier.
Yep. And it's Combat 7 on my Switch because recent updates have improved it. It's not as glitchy as it was on launch, so that's good. That's it.
Yeah, so I had another month from hell at work, so I had really a hard time playing anything. And whenever I tried to play, I either lost heart to it or didn't have time or it was too difficult for me. I tried to play this game that looks very much and feels very much like Shovel Knight. And a lot of people were saying this is a really great game called Fallen Leaf. It's very much like Mega Man games, like Mega Man slash Shovel Knight, but also it is Mega Man level difficult. And one of the bosses just all of my will to continue, and
Oh
I
dear.
had to give it up. Yeah, but then also I decided that instead of playing new games, I will return to a game that I have not given much thought, and I was inspired to return to it by our own wonderful Shadow Phoenix Rider, which is very much in the topic today because I decided to give a chance to Civ 6. Yes. Well, mm, yeah,
Oh,
I should
At
be
this point,
testing. I can they can hear me now. But yeah, I've never. I'll probably hit that one by mistake. But yeah, I've never really. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just kind of never got around to it. It's one of those like I'll get around to it eventually. Never did.
I'll be honest, I don't think 4X is your game.
4X.
That's
Yeah,
that's the genre that Civ lives in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. You seem more of a RTS kind of guy. Like 4X doesn't. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but it just doesn't vibe.
I don't think
For
you're wrong.
context, 4X is explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. That's the 4Xs.
Yeah, it's turn
Exterminate.
for the 4X genre tends to be turn-based, but you do get some
Yeah.
FPS ones every now and again.
I think it's only because I've never tried it. I do think you're right that I might bounce off it because of my proclivities towards RTS games, but yeah.
But then again, you do like board
I mean,
games, so maybe
you can
maybe
always
it might
give it a
scratch your
college
itch.
try.
I mean, multiple of us in here have the same games. We could always try a multiplayer session at some point.
That sounds like it would be stuck in hell forever.
I don't know.
I mean, it would only be for one evening, and if we don't like it, we leave it alone.
I feel I've always had this feeling like with 4X games, the multiplayer is really for like really hardcore people who are willing to spend 12 hours to play 5 turns and call it
I
a
mean, yeah,
day.
it is.
Yeah,
It is slow.
I've watched multiplayer Civ 5. It's not fun because it does take so long. I
Yeah.
mean, Stellaris is a fun one actually,
Also,
but that's more a 4X with RTS. With RTS
also,
on it.
I really worry about netcode, seeing how like netcode and XCOM and such work. I don't know if Firaxis has ever learned to do proper multiplayer. So I don't know how well that will work.
I think 4X is okay if it's turn based, but I'm not sure. The hot seat games are fine, but then again, that's how I play my Civ. So
Sorry, I was just admiring Burr's massive tankard.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is also an experimental drink
it's
because
not really a tankard. It's just like one of those.
it's a
measuring jugs.
pitcher. It's a
Because
pail.
I'm drinking from this, and then I look at yours. It's like,
Yeah.
I have fine glasses in that.
You know, mine is the size of my head, literally. This is 1.5 liter.
Oh, Shadow's going to collect something.
because what I'm drinking tonight is full on America.
Oh, God.
Oh, America! Fuck yeah!
America, fuck yeah.
I decided to
Spangled Splash.
Apparently.
Ooh.
You have
Oh, that's fancy.
you have finery. Ooh, yes.
Ooh,
Oh,
very
nice.
nice.
That is a holy grail.
Let Shadow talk.
Peasants.
Nuka-Cola says otherwise.
I actually have more. This is the third of a set. There are more.
Oh, there's a
Very
set,
nice.
is there?
There is a set. These are I will just say I do actually have some glass tumblers that are really nice that have been carved similar to how this is. But
Nice.
Well, tally ho! Let's get let's get the cocktails out.
Yeah,
I will just say I have inherited this. I didn't buy this myself. I got this from my grandma.
It is really pretty, but to be honest, I would have to drink like 15 of these.
I just stick with me Murmu. Not sure what I want to call it. It's not a mason jar. It's
Sippy cup.
the closest thing to it. Yes.
It's a sippy cup.
It's a sippy mason.
Roughly the size of one can. I empty a can into it, and I'm good.
Hey, this actually does literally fit a can inside it because it keeps it cool. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Also, I really love the fact that you could just go to the bar at the hotel at UKG and just ask them to refill it.
Fill it up. Fill it up. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Fill her up.
Honestly, if I was a millionaire and I had luxuries, I would just say, just install a barrel of the shit and with a tap, like you get in an actual proper fucking pub. Yeah.
Look, drifting. I do tend to just drink from the can or the bottle, but of recent I procured a 2-liter bottle of lemon Fanta, and you can't start off drinking from the bottle. That shit's heavy, so you have to put it into glass. So I've actually been using these glasses for the first time.
Hmm.
I really need
No,
to
I-
shuffle
Very
them
nice.
around to use the
Yeah.
other two that are in there, because that one was the first one I grabbed from there. There's 2 others.
I've already been side-eyed by people because of that, but I really can't drink from a can because I need to wait until my drink goes flat because my tummy doesn't really agree with CO2 that much. And I much prefer flat drinks.
That's
Fair
fair.
enough, yeah.
That's fair.
That's
Uh,
why I use these.
Oh, I hate.
Hmm.
I hate. Also, can I just say, sparkling water is the devil, and I hate it.
Oof.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah. Overpriced, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
What is
the
very funny though?
juice.
What is very funny though is I recently had the water go out in my flat, and I had to go buy
Yeah.
some bottles of water, and all of the liter bottles which was still water were sold out, so I had to get sparkling water.
Is
And let me tell you, don't use that to flush. Don't use that to flush the toilet. Chaos happens, but it is very useful to get dirt off of dishes because the carbonation takes the
yeah.
dirt off quite quickly.
Hmm.
I still would use washing up liquid, but I was just pouring it on. I was like, oh, that's quite fascinating, actually. Don't worry,
Could
it's
that
all
could
it's all gone now. It's been replaced by still.
is it possible in some way to have an attachment to your kitchen sink that carbonates your water as it comes
Yes.
through?
Yes.
It is entirely possible, but
There are.
it is expensive.
I mean, yeah,
I
but
mean, it may be
I still
not
want
that
it.
expensive because there are those carbonators that you put a CO2
oh, soda streams.
sort of sort of soda streams. You put a in Polish it's called a CO2 bullet, but it's probably not called a bullet in English. But basically, it is very highly pressurized, like liquid CO2. So it lasts for quite a while, and it'll give you that.
Well, it would be liquid CO2 because that has to be cooled down to like several hundred
Yeah.
minus degrees.
Okay, possibly. I mean,
I
if
know what you
if
mean.
it's,
I'm just.
I mean, also if it's really well insulated, it could be. But yeah, probably it is just highly pressurized.
I love this little
Yes.
kind of window into our various lives. Like when I do the washing up, well, to be fair, I try and avoid doing the washing up, but I wash up my own plates. I don't wash up anyone else because I have a thing about touching
Oh yeah,
residue.
I totally get it. I have to wear gloves. I cannot abide
I've-
the food touching my hands. It's
I haven't-
so gross.
For a long time, I've wanted to get like these big old marigold gloves, like the
Oh,
big
yeah.
yellow jobbies. But
And
yeah,
the ones I have.
yes,
They're
exactly.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, I love playing with dirty dishes in the water and see
No,
them,
I cannot.
see them become cleaner and cleaner. It's very therapeutic.
No, I will say I love washing up. It is very therapeutic and very calming to myself. But I cannot touch the dirt. If the dirt touches me, I shrivel, like as Drifting says, I shrivel into a ball.
It's
Like,
not that
I
kind of.
can't-
It's not that kind of medical podcast. I mean, we might have there might be some autopsies on the
We're-
show, but not that.
We're not doing full cavity on video games.
Yeah.
Getting back to it. So sorry to hear that you're not had much time to game lately, but myself, because and then we'll go around the shadow. I'm coming doing around the clock, around it below. I mean, no, not been playing much. I just been playing.
Yeah, it's almost like you were streaming a game a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, I'll get to that.
And a lot of last week.
Yeah, I'll get to that. So I finished playing Metal Gear Solid 3. I also booted up Vertigo Remastered as a VR game about a couple of weeks ago. Really enjoyed that. It's a bit like, think of it like it's quirky Portal, but in VR with guns. It's unusual. Definitely.
Does it indeed give you vertigo?
No, not me. I'm fine, but I could definitely see it giving someone vertigo. It is one of those, the first truly games where I can move around with the analog stick and like point and shoot and like dodge and like hit people with stuff. So yeah, it is a bit different than the VR games I've had before.
Sounds fun.
I very much enjoyed its sequel demo. This one I didn't vibe with as much, but I think it's because the sequel, they kind of vibed into their comedy. So I'm looking forward to giving the sequel a full try. I've also just lightly touched, and I do say lightly touched because Steam says I opened it for a total of 3 minutes lately, the Castlevania Dominus collection, because that shadow dropped, much to my shock. And I just wanted to see if it was running. It ran fine. It runs fine. Good. But yeah, I've been playing Star Wars Outlaws. It's, it's all right. It's fine.
It's only completely taken over your gaming life.
Yeah, it's only. I mean, that's the thing. Is it's so weird to have conversations with these idiots online about the game. Like the one I saw yesterday is there was someone saying it's a bad game because you can't swim.
What?
People can't swim.
Yeah, people can't swim.
Not just that, but people.
Especially if they've been on our desert, if they lived on a desert planet for most of their life.
Well, not just that, but like, someone being able to swim is not a, it's like it doesn't say so you can swim, that ticks a box out of Game of the Year. It's like.
Yeah,
I mean, Grand Theft Auto's
GTA, quite. Oh yeah.
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 GTA is a bad game because you can't swim.
Yep.
Crash Bandicoot is a bad game because you can't swim. Assassin's fucking Creed is a bad game because you can't swim.
The first Assassin's Creed.
All of the Sonic games are bad because you can't swim.
He can't swim. He can walk underwater, but he can't breathe underwater.
But that's not swimming, is it?
You are right. You are right.
The one level of Halo 3 that has water in, if you go in the water, you die. Master Chief can't swim.
But let's be honest, it's just people looking for an excuse to shit on the game. So, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It definitely is what I would call a window game. It is a window into the Star Wars world, and I'm on board, fully on board. Oh, I'm window shopping. I am definitely window shopping. I'm window taking people's money with Sabak. Yeah, loving the game.
Nice.
I definitely will say, and I said I was going to mention on the podcast, so I'm not going to miss the opportunity to do. I do think that the one very easy to criticize area is the price, which is the Ultimate Edition, which I'm just going to make sure I get the proper price. Ultimate Edition.
Too fucking much.
Too fucking much is what I would say.
Like 120 pounds sterling.
It's over 100. It's 100. It cost me £114.99.
Oof.
Jesus.
Yes.
Holy cripes.
Yeah. Ouch. Oucherino.
That is an equivalent of 8 really brilliant indie games.
I don't even think that. The highest price for Civ 7 is 120, so they got them beat there.
I'm assuming, yeah.
So let me run through.
That has like a season pass or something.
It does, yes.
Not.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No. You go on.
You continue. Finish your thing, then I'll go to mine.
I was gonna say they don't have. I think the season pass is either It's a fucking 2K published game. Like I don't fucking know. It's got so many fucking tiers.
I do know that Outlaws did come with 3 tiers. There's the base game for $59.99 UK price. There's the base game there's the Gold Edition, which is the base game and the season pass for $94.99. And at that point, I'm like, okay, that's fairly, it's pushing the limit, but I can take that. 90, I think, whatever I would have preferred. The Ultimate Edition is the base game, the season pass, 2 DLC packs, which is 2 cosmetic packs. So that's for the Trailblazer, Nyx, the Speeder, and an outfit for Kay themselves. 2 packs of that, and the digital art book. And let me tell you, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the Ultimate Edition for the digital art book, which that's $114.99. So that's an extra £20 I pay just to get 2 pieces of cosmetic DLC, which I would argue should be in the season pass. I remember back in the day when you bought the season pass, you got all the DLC. That was how you got all the DLC, because it was I'm buying all the DLC bundle. I don't like how it's become this itemized thing. So I will gladly rake Ubisoft over the coals for their ridiculous pricing. If you would have just had the gold edition at $94.99 with season pass, with the Rogue Infiltrator and the Backshot bundle, and forget the art book, sell the art book separately if you want to, fair enough. But nah, because let's put it this way: the only reason you put the art book in the $114.99 is to give it perceived value. I'm not going to say that no one bought it for the art book, because that would be an absolutist opinion, and so I'm sure someone did want the art book, but no one saw that. Cool, I get the art book with it. I think I'll buy that. So yeah, Ubisoft, kick yourself in the shins and get out with this multi thing. Give us 2 editions and that's it.
And there was me feeling guilty for spending £80 on a game I've waited 13 years for.
I mean, I don't regret my purchase because I'm enjoying the game. I just feel like this is worthy of criticism. And yeah, that's where I'll leave it.
Oh, yeah, other than that sort of practice is nasty.
Yeah. And I'll leave it at that. Other than the fact that I've been enjoying the game quite heavily. And that's me. Shadow.
I've not been playing that much either, but I've been mostly writing my silly little fanfics. I have played. I've been playing Civ 6 with the announcement of Civ 7. Getting back into that, mostly just cleaning up leader achievements and such like. I've also been playing Wizard with a Gun, mostly multiplayer. I think that game just does better multiplayer than it does.
It does.
I can definitely see the
appeal.
I can see why people enjoy it single player, but for me, I just can't get into it single player kind of thing. I can only sort of go forward when there's multiplayer.
I forgot that I mentioned that. Yeah, I play Wizards Gun as well with this lot. Lemming, Shadow, and Weird. I really enjoyed it. I do agree. I think it works better with a group than without.
Yeah, I pumped about 3-4 hours in solo, and it's a time waster game solo. It's fun, but it is much better as a group.
Yeah, it's a shame Galvanic didn't manage to get 4-player into the release one. I think that did it in for them, unfortunately.
It was an absolute fun to watch you play it. I just wanted that.
Yeah, one game I have been playing on and off that I've actually kind of gotten into in a good way is Universe Sim. It's an indie game that I have been watching for about. When did they go into early access? 2018, I think. Yeah, so it's been a while. About 6 years I've been watching this game sort of go from hey, we've announced this game to we're in early access to we finally released 1.0. It's basically a god game as I expected a god game to be. You are a god, you get miracles, and you are trying to guide your civilization from, primeval nakedness all the way up to a spacefaring civilization and trying to not get them killed and such like. I've had a couple of goes with it. The start is very, very slow, which is understandable. You've only got 2 people, or as the game calls them, nuggets, and you've just got to slowly watch them grow and build things. And you can help them by using telekinesis. It is very funny. It is very funny though to pick up huge lump of trees and then just slam them down on a building. Job's done. And also for one reason I can't understand, why will the nuggets not? I think that was my fault. I misinterpreted what the cemetery was supposed to do, and I had nuggets dying because they were old. They just sort of fall down on the floor. But if you don't remove the body quickly enough, they turn into an infected zone, and any nugget that walks through them becomes infected. And I couldn't understand why the nuggets in the cemetery were not going out to collect the body and bring them back. It's because they wasn't in the collection radius. I am a smart god. Also, Listen to me. Listen to me. Do not allow any exiles to exist. They are motherfuckers. They will send tornadoes after you. They are motherfuckers. Don't trade with them. They are liars. Kill them immediately. As soon as the little pop up says, "Oh, there's an exile," like trying to build a new civilization. Death. Nobody survives on this planet unless they worship me. Fuck you.
I bring death.
I bring death. Have some lightning. Also, UFOs are bitches. I hate them. I haven't managed to get out of the Stone Age yet. As I said, I've had several times where I've put my epicenter in the wrong place, and it's like, we have no resources. I'm very smart.
Plus, of course, you've got this little species that is just there's like a babby. It's like, no, don't touch that, don't stop that, do this. No, you know.
They drink from the fucking lake water and get ill, and I'm like, for God's sake, could you just have not like?
They're
waited
doing the
for
civilization
longer?
equivalent of sticking their fingers in the plug sockets.
It feels like God game equivalent of Cult of the Lamb. You have
A little bit. At least they don't shit all
clean
over
the shit after every little cultist.
They're not that bad, thankfully. They're quite. They look after each other fairly well. They're just irritating.
I like your
They haven't got around to the "what's that in your mouth" bit.
I haven't got to the part where I get bored and start throwing them around yet. That was always fun in Black and White too.
What do you have there? A knife? No.
No. I
But
did have a
some-
guy. I did have one quest where it was basically we finally researched clothing and everybody wore clothes, which are quite nice. They're quite cute little clothes on the Nuggets. But there was this one guy who was like, "No, I'm gonna continue to be a nudist." And the game was like, "Hey, you should probably stop him from doing that. Why don't you change the season, which is currently summer, to winter to stop this?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And I did, and
You have two
It's not
choices:
good
be
for
a
me.
nudist or freeze.
that was pretty much it. It didn't go well for me because the thing about winter is that the water sources freeze up,
Yep.
so you can't pump water, and my reservoirs were not full, and also they can't fish. Fishing was the only food source they had. It was not, and it was like, "Yeah, we're starving," and I'm like, "Hey, we're starving. Can you bring us some animal? Can you like bring us an animal?" I'm like, "Okay." Just found a random ass wolf, just picked it up. Just like, this is your food source now.
From
It
from
wasn't
your
a ball.
from your excitement, I surmise it scratches the right itch.
Yes, it's one of those, because a lot of God games, that get advertised are not really God games. If you get my drift, they don't. They're either a little too tied to you being a leader of a civilization in the RTS sense, or they're like it's difficult to describe, but none of them have really made me feel like, yes, I am a god guiding a civilization kind of thing. It's been always a bit too controlled kind of thing, or
Yeah.
too hands off.
Yeah, you're you're supposed to influence them. You're not supposed to directly lead them.
Yes.
That can
And
be a
it
f-
is,
Go on.
like, you can put buildings down for them and stuff like that and move them around, but a lot of the time they will build like residential areas by themselves and stuff like that. You can set up a town hall and say, "Hey, govern yourselves, build buildings for yourself." They're not very bright because it's AI, but they're trying. Bless their hearts. But it does make you feel more like you are a shepherd rather than a little
Overlord.
yeah, you're a puppeteer or anything like that. Is good shit. You can drop meteors on them if you so wish. Why would you do that though? They are your babies. They love you very much until they build exile settlements, and then they can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, they built exile settlements, and they don't worship me. Worship me.
Then you smite them with lightning.
Yeah,
So
there's
maybe
some fuckers.
they don't worship me because they don't believe in me. Let's make them believe in me. I will prove I'm real. Lightning bolt.
Pretty much. And there's
Maybe
also
they don't worship me because I didn't let them be noticed. Abolish all clothes.
They started worshipping another god, so I had to show them the error of their ways. and kill them.
Ooh, that
Ready
gets
to
awkward.
fire this.
Heretics.
Although I do like there are some quests I will say that are not that easy, because there's one where it's like, I've lost my child. No, could you find my child for me? And it's like, okay, I have no idea where this is, and I've got a great big globe to look around, kind of thing. Thankfully, it's very easy to find the child surrounded by 3 wolves. Once you find the 3 wolves arranged in a particular formation, you're like, that's kind of the child I need. Also, pause the time when you're looking. Don't let the timer run down. There's also a quest where you have to find fruit for a farmer, and they're like, this is the only crop we grow, bloody diarrhea fruit, and I'm like,
Hmm.
Perfect.
you can also get them to grow weed. It's very funny. You just have to find the devil's lettuce. It's literally called the devil's lettuce, and I'm like, haha, I know what that's called.
Note to self, more latrines.
I am a terrible goddess. Don't worship me.
No, you're a perfect goddess. This is exactly what this game has been made for. It's the god game equivalent of taking away the ladder from your swimming pool.
I will say I get really annoyed because in my I'm starting fresh because I accidentally let some exiles grow up and they decided, you know what, we're just gonna throw tornadoes at you, and I'm like, fuck you. the one time I let you like grow a little civilization on your own, you decide to throw tornadoes at me. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, that one time I did that, I put a reservoir too close to a stone source. And you can use telekinesis to pick things up, but if you're using telekinesis to pick up objects and not nuggets, there's a charge time where your telekinesis takes time to pick things up. And if you keep the button held down, it'll hoover up things around it. The problem is the time between it hitting full power, as in I have picked up this rock, to start hoovering up everything in the radius around you is very quick. So I ended up not just picking up the rocks that I needed to help my nuggets build a thingy over there, but also all of the water in the reservoir. And I'm just
Ugh.
like, yeah. And you can't just like put that down on a building site and have it just be put on the side as like bottles of water. It's like,
And
no,
there's
you
no
used the water. You used all of the water. It's gone now.
and there's no slider for it in options.
Oh,
Oh, that's annoying.
that is very
Ooh,
nice.
3 out of 10, bad game.
Yeah, it's. I will say though, it's a pretty good game for options. Though I will say its default UI text is so small. Even I had to increase it. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Oh yeah, that was my
Getting too
problem with
old for
Civ
this.
6 recently. I was like, what is it? What does it say here?
I'm getting too old for this, but
Yeah. Also, I have a 21 by 9 screen, so it's
everything's so far away.
yeah.
So yeah, that's
Sorry,
what
no, I have 32 by 9 screen. Sorry.
Wow.
Wow.
That's what I've been playing into video games, and also horribly marmalizing my characters in my fan fictions. I've been writing the worst angst that you would ever know. Yes.
Great piece.
You're writing so brilliantly, and we love it.
I've been enjoying it.
You will
Yeah.
not enjoy you will not enjoy this angst. You will not enjoy it. 'Cause it's
Moving
hard.
moving on to
Oh yes, we will.
the news. So we're gonna lightly touch on a few subjects. The main one we're gonna talk about is Gamescom. But do you want to like lightly touch on a few things beforehand?
I'm good.
I mean,
Cool.
we already mentioned Concord.
Yeah, Concord Dying.
Concord.
Oh yeah, Disney Plus.
How long was that in development for?
8 years.
8 years.
Now it's been getting shut down in a few days. Apparently, it only sold around 25,000 copies.
Big failure.
I was going to say Disney tried to use a Disney Plus subscription as an excuse for killing somebody. That went down like a shit sandwich.
That is fucking shitty. That was.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised no one thought it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's gonna end up horribly.
Yeah, I don't understand what they were thinking, but they tried it on and failed.
They were thinking
miserably.
because legally it is binding. Legally, they had an in on that. The only reason they've gone against it is because of massive public upheaval. But
Yeah.
it actually does stand if
Ac-
they went with it.
Actually, not really, because the law has provisions in there that it can be, that they can strike it down and say it's unlawful to have that in there. This is why having, because that's the thing, the Disney Plus subscription is entirely unrelated to the events that happen at Disney.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't use
Also-
that as a.
Also, the other thing is, I can't believe no one who's been thinking of the PR response to that has thought for one moment about that public upheaval that is going to cause.
Yeah,
Oh, it's ridiculous.
yeah. I don't understand who thought that was a good idea, but then again, they also cancelled the second season of the Acolyte, so there we go.
Yeah.
oh,
I know.
That sucks so bad.
yeah, it's one of those things that when it comes to that, I also agree. I don't know why no one in that company thought this is not gonna. I mean,
can't believe nobody looked at that and said, "You know what this signals to other people, right?"
yeah, this is gonna go down like a lead balloon, and it went
Yeah.
down like a lead balloon.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
they had to
just
backtrack.
gives extra wind into old Chud's sails. Sucks.
Yeah, they had to backtrack on it, and then while they were doing that, they went, "Yeah, we're cancelling the Acolyte."
Yeah, which
Why?
well, I do want to speak quickly touching on that. It's technically not cancelled. They didn't renew it.
They got very quiet about it.
Yes, however, this is the same series that brought Obi-Wan Kenobi back, and many years later in a show after the show, was conceived as both a film and all sorts, and also it's the same company that brought back the Clone Wars after that was cancelled several years later. They could just be giving it time in between seasons. I'm not saying they are doing that, but it just seems weird to have Manny Ducato being the guy who is Master of Ceremonies at Celebration Japan next year and not be pursuing with the Acolyte. Again, we don't know. I have hope.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I've been pestered by a creature.
It's fine.
Uh-oh.
I won't go too far into this because that is a hive of scum and villainy we don't have the time nor the spoons to delve into. But put it this way, cancelling the Acolyte is for the worst because it fuels the fire of certain grifters, shall we say.
Oh,
Well,
I'm gonna fucking say it. I was gonna fucking say it. Many years ago, we learned, that people decided there was big business in keeping people angry. So I'm just gonna say it. Anyone who thinks that Star Wars theory believes any the shit that comes out of his mouth, he's a con man. He's the biggest con man of this age. If he existed in the 1900s, he'd be selling snake oil to every single town he passes through. That's all he is. Because whether or not he believes what he says doesn't matter. He makes money off it. And that's the key thing. He is financially incentivized to keep people upset and angry. He is a con man, and I will stand up. I will stand up loud and proud and say that he's a con man.
You're getting no disagreement from us. We absolutely know that this is exactly what Star Wars theory is. Yeah.
Bring on the beef.
Well, I'm just saying it like it is.
Yeah,
that's what they say.
Well, I think he's a cunt. So there we go.
Yeah, you think he's a cunt? I think he's a con man. To be fair, I could probably post that meme. Both. So
both.
Yeah, and he was complaining that people were what did he say? He was complaining that the Disney fans are disparaging his life's work. What, your life's work would use generative AI, mate? Go fuck yourself. You don't have a your life's work using generative AI people's voices without consent, and also stuff from the Disney films that you so hate. Boy, you are pathetic. I have written smutty fanfics with more unique original shit in it than you have ever had in your pinky finger, sir.
So by life's work, you're basically saying other people's lives' work.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much.
Yeah.
It isn't even his own script.
No,
It's
tell me,
basically,
it's
I want
based
to
on
do
this.
Dark Empire again.
Yeah, it's based on the Dark Empire book, and yeah,
Pathetic.
yeah,
Absolutely pathetic.
con man. That's all he is. Anyway, moving on.
We'll be here all day.
We'll be here all night. Is there anything else we want to discuss before we get into Gamescom?
Not really, except
We'll get to what you want to bring up. Shadow. I think we'll get to yeah.
No, I don't have anything to bring up. I was just gonna say, did anybody feel that Gamescom was a little bit less this year? Was it just me?
I think so. I mean, first of all, I think we all agree it was very middling with the games that it was showing us. There was nothing really that would really excite us, that would hype us for everything.
I mean,
it was it's okay, it's cool, but nothing to write home about.
Yeah, the only thing that really wowed me was Civ 7, and that was it. Really,
That's kind of like
maybe Indiana Jones, but yeah.
Yeah, there was Indiana Jones. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Ignore the Dune fan in the corner.
Yeah, but
I mean,
but that being said, there was nothing shown at Gamescom that I wasn't already hyped about.
Yeah.
Also, on the other hand, but I was to say that Indiana Jones was announced already on the Games Awards, or even earlier. Dune was announced at Gamescom last year, I think. Because I remember we were very hyped, and then at the end they said that this is MMO.
I must admit, there was a lot more shown of Dune than I've seen in a while, and it did catalyze to me. I am not playing this game. I'm not getting involved with this. But
I mean, I can watch. I could watch Lemming fly the ornithopter for hours, but I'm not playing this game.
Same.
The only problem is it's getting there.
Yeah, some of the stuff I've heard about how the game actually works from somebody who shall remain nameless, who is playing the closed beta, is it's got a very much of a multiplayer focus. And a competitive multiplayer focus. So
very much like Eve.
I mean, lucky for me, I have a group to run in with if I ever do play it, which I obviously will.
They did kind of show that on the gameplay that they were showing at Gamescom, that this is very PvP, like maybe not PvP, but like group v group or guild v guild.
Oh no, it's PvP.
Yeah, it's players versus players, and I do like the idea that to stop one group getting overall control of everything and shutting everyone else out, they basically reset everything regularly. A sandstorm happens. Good in universal reason as to why you need to wipe and start again.
Yeah, a sandworm frenzy, and they eat everything. And
the sandworms are already going to be a thing.
The sphincters of doom.
I do agree about Gamescom and the fact that it did feel like there wasn't a lot that wowed me, but I'm also aware that just because it didn't wow me doesn't mean it didn't wow anyone else. Because different strokes, different folks, and all that. I also think that Gamescom is rather unfortunately placed where it feels a lot closer to the E3 period, where you have people doing their thing than ever. There's also before Games Awards. I do think that Gamescom has its way of becoming its own unique thing. I think it needs to kind of push out. I think it needs to kind of grow a little bit, and it is growing. But they're also looking at doing events every month, and I'm like, that's a bit much.
Yeah.
I remember last year it was pretty good for indies. Actually, I remember their page was absolutely covered in them. I didn't see so many this year. Either I wasn't checking back all the time, or it just didn't feel. Just felt a little more muted. I did notice that I'm not sure if it was like a mic situation where they didn't have the audience mic'd up properly, but they were so quiet this year. Like really, really quiet a lot of the
Might
time.
have been the audience mic thing, yeah.
Yeah, because I heard from somebody that the Gamescom audience was like really subdued, and I was like, I mean, I can believe that maybe, but it seemed a little too quiet to me. I was thinking, I don't think they've mic'd them properly.
Maybe.
It's possible.
It's difficult to
On
know
the other
that.
hand, I don't really mind that much.
Nah, I mean, I was just looking through what got announced. We got Borderlands 4, which I don't know. I've kind of gotten over Borderlands. I'll play it with Weird Lewis and Weird, the Scarf and Thistle, because I enjoy the company of those three when I'm playing it. That's what makes that for me, that experience. But I would never kind of play Borderlands 4 on my own. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Go on.
I've got a feeling that Borderlands 4 was trotted out. So, what? The movie's shit?
Yes.
We've got a game, guys!
Yeah.
We've got a game coming!
From what I heard from the grapevine, take this with a pinch of salt. Randy was very unhappy with how the movie went because that was supposed to be the big lead into this announcement kind of thing, but because it was so shit, people think that they muted the reception for the announcement. So yeah, I can perhaps understand why Randy might be just a little bit annoyed.
Call of Duty Black Ops, whatever it is, looks like a Call of Duty Black Ops game.
Yeah, it's blobs.
I hope the people who like buying those games enjoy it.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
I'd admit,
First Black Ops was fun. It went off the rails at 3. So
well, actually, I've actually always been like, of all the Call of Duties, Black Ops always interests me because, of course, I love my spy shit. But never really play the games. And I was looking, I should give this a go at some point. You then had Gamescom, had perhaps the single best trailer in the entire event, which of course was for Goat Simulator Remastered.
Yeah, that's getting a remaster.
That trailer itself was the best, you know.
Yeah, that was amazing. Definitely what I expected out of it. You then got some more Persona stuff with Aegeus. And then we had, what was it? Some Dying Light the Beast DLC, which I've again, Dying Light always had my thing on the pulse, but never really got there. We then had a Wukong trailer, which I remember you commented to Shadows like, well, isn't that out now? And yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where they take the event and they use it as a chance to really push this game coming out. So there was that. There was Dragon.
It's very popular as well.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you know, a Chinese myth being released by a Chinese company is really going to resonate with the home demographic, and you know, there's more of them than there are of us. So
all I know is that there are some other communities I'm involved with of British and American people, and they are loving it. So
not only that, it's also from what I see, it's a very solid game.
Yeah, from what I've heard as well.
I do like the people going, they ripped off Dragon Ball Z.
What do you think, Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, bravo. Yes.
Jesus Christ.
What are you going to say, Bert?
No, essentially, everything is a Journey to the West fucking ripoff.
True, but
no, I just wanted to say that whether this game wins or flops in the West outside of China, it's still like 80 to 85% of the people playing this game on Steam at any time are from China.
Yeah.
And also this game is very heavily promoted there in China. It's trying to feed a lot on Chinese nationalism, and a lot of people are, because of that, are very incentivized on getting this game. So
just
whatever happens in our market, they don't really care about.
Just remember, guys, the contract says that we can't talk about any political stuff about it. Hang on. We're not fucking involved with that game's contract at all. We can talk about what the fuck we like.
Taiwan is the real China.
Oh, damn. Ooh.
Well, now we're blocked. Now we're blocked on fucking.
Well, there we go. Yeah.
Well, now we're blocked in China. Good
that-
job, everybody.
Good job, everybody. No, but no, I do think.
Slam Ukraine!
I
There
do
we go.
think.
There's Russia as well.
There's Russia as well. I do think. I do give it. I guess what I got to say to the company who does this, and them bending over for their own government. Fuck you, maybe.
Well, to be fair, they don't really have much of a choice when they're in
Yeah.
China
Yeah.
because the government does hold complete control. To the point where if you're, this is a fun fact. If you're in a multiplayer lobby with somebody from China in your game and you mention the Tiananmen Square massacre, they will be shut. Their internet will be shut off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a problem of the government.
Yeah. So if everybody is under the little strings, can't really blame anybody but the top.
They kind of have a gun to the back of their head.
Sounds like they need someone to shoot someone very high up.
Even if not a literal gun, they can suddenly find that they have been dissolved as a company
Yes.
for some prompt reason.
Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero. Funny that you mentioned that Dragon Ball when you mentioned Wukong. Yeah, Wukong, great game. Then it's followed by Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero.
Another Dragon Ball game.
Yeah, another Journey to the West game and another Dragon Ball game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to mention a really, really amazing game for PS3. I think remaster for PS4, which is a European game that is very, very inspired by Journey to the West, called Enslaved.
Oh,
Enslaved
yeah.
Odyssey to the West, and it's a brilliant game, and I advise anyone who can to play it. It's a
To be
brilliant.
fair, I almost wore my Dragon Ball Z t-shirt today. I went with this one instead.
It was.
Yeah, but
It was a gambit.
Then we got the King of Meat trailer, which again was really fun with the way they involved Jeff as a character in that.
That is really fun. That is the game that I was like, oh yeah, I should really note that down, and I completely fucking forgot.
To the point of King of Meat, I'm disappointed that I can't play as Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
yeah.
Give me a
That's
Jeff Keighley skin. I would have killed for that.
You're
That-
killing for that.
Yes. Then there's that linked game, Banner of the Spark, that kind of top-down multiplayer game. That looked fairly interesting. Not my cup of tea, but very colourful, very interesting about building your home and having all these different abilities, the hoverboard and things. Very interesting.
Every game needs hoverboards.
Every game needs hoverboards. Going through here, seeing what else we got. We then have one of the games which I am very interested in, which is the Life is Strange esque game that we got from that. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. The one where you play as the band's like photographer. I think it's the photographer or the archivist, whatever. And you're experiencing the past through the tapes. Very intrigued by that.
So very Life is Strange. I've been calling it Life is Strange until they announced the title.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair. No More Room in Hell 2. Zombies, blah.
Yay!
Can't really say more than that, really. It's zombies,
No.
blah. Arc Raiders didn't really appeal to me. It looks like just like a normal kind of shooter.
That's a game.
That is a game. It's a game. I'm sure it'll interest someone, and that's fine. But didn't interest
Isn't
me.
it also the game where they mispronounced the title? We had no idea what the title was.
Maybe.
I think we're like confused. Is it Arc Riders? Is it like Art Riders?
Yeah.
Oh
So-
yeah,
Oh, no, it is.
I thought I heard Art Riders or something. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it and going, it's not spelled with a K, it's spelled with a C, which completely blows my idea out the water of it being somewhere where you're looking for the Ark.
Mm.
You are pirates attempting to steal Noah's Ark.
Yeah,
Oh,
something like that.
that's an awesome concept. I like that.
You are
I mean,
you are two dinosaurs trying to get onto the Ark.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, you fail.
There was an anime years ago called Spriggan, which actually had the main character as part of an organization that finds mythical artifacts and hides them from the world, and they fight over the Noah's Ark. The final epic battle is they found Noah's Ark.
We then get a Space Marine 2 trailer.
Yes.
Woo, yeah, boy. Fucking bring it on.
Which looked amazing.
13 years.
Not my thing, but again, with someone here is very excited for it, and power to them.
I mean, the first game ended on a cliffhanger. The character you've played as the entire way through the game beats the chaos, beats the big bad. I was like, yes, we're victorious. And then your dipshit subordinate hands you over to the Inquisition because you shouldn't have been that good.
Ouch.
It's like, the fuck? The Andros is a bitch.
That's the Imperium for you. Also,
Yeah,
we raise a drink to the dearly departed Total Biscuit, who would have loved this game.
You would love this indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever you are, TV,
Yep.
this is for you.
You are
Damn right. Yes, myself, Mist, and Kev, a friend of mine, will be playing it multiplayer. At some point in the future, I will be playing it solo. Until then,
not to be mean to your friend, but like it's like yeah, it's me, Lemon Russ. We got Mistropolis and there's Kev. Hey, you know.
In fairness, we have flown with Kev before with
That's true.
Squadron.
Yeah.
He's a pretty decent dude.
he's a nice guy.
Oh, he's a nice guy. No, I know. It's more like
It's funny though.
yeah, it's like the mundane like you know, rather than actually.
Also, speaking of names, I just wanted to make a teensy bit spoiler. In one of her stories, Shadow called the god Kenneth.
Kenneth.
I did. That was Weird's name. He was like Craig's daughter, and I'm like, I can't call him that. I'm sorry. It's like Kenneth. Like yes, okay, we're calling him Kenneth, and then I made him a bigot and hit him with a wrench.
That just reminds me of in the BBC radio comedy series Old Harry's Game. It turns out that the holy name of God isn't actually Jehovah. It's Nigel.
Ah! Oh.
I've as I said to people, I've known 2 Nigels in my entire life, and both of them are cunts. So
Yeah, the only
Makes sense.
Nigels I've ever known to be good people who haven't done illegal things have been fictional characters.
says a lot about the name.
Hey.
We had then predecessors, which again was like standard kind of like hero shooter bull crap. Not interested. Nothing.
It was I forgot it almost as soon as they announced it. I was just like,
Yeah. We then got Path of Exile 2. Interesting. And then the Dune trailer, Dune Awakening, which did look very good. We've already kind of discussed that at good length. There was quite a lot of time devoted to that. And again, not my thing. I don't really do MMOs because they're just not my thing. But yeah, I'd totally watch you fly the Ornithopter around, my friend.
yes.
Absolutely.
Shooting things and building bases and flying my ornithopter.
Explore.
Explore. Then we got Reanimal, which is from the creators of Little Nightmares 2, which again is more like
I
what
thought
the
that was Little Nightmares 3.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, it's like no,
And then they did announce Little Nightmares 3.
people like
same vibes, definitely. Then there's about a 5-minute window where I lost time and just woke up, so it must have been some Hoyoverse shit in that time.
Oh yeah. I was like, hey, do we? Because we had it paused for reasons, and I was like, hey guys, do we want this? And everyone was like,
No.
So I skipped that part of the trailer.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. It's Gacha Game Ship. Sorry.
Yeah, just move to the next moment where we see the announcers. Okay.
Yep, Montana Wilds was next. Looks pretty good. Again, my thing. But yeah, Shadow, Monsanto. Looked good, didn't it?
What? Sorry.
Monsanto Wilds looked good.
Yeah, you say that as if I play the actual Monster Hunter games, which I don't.
You
I
have
play Rory's version.
You have the biggest experience out of all 4 of us.
I play the creature collecting version. I have nothing. I can look at them and say, oh, that looks like a insert creature here. But that's it. That's all I got. and they're a lot
That's
cuter in Monster.
that's still one Monster Hunter game more than all of
All of
us.
us.
I still need to continue that game. I got to like the second island and it was like, here, follow the story, and I went, yeah, I'll do that, and then immediately ADHD myself into hell.
We then got a weird crossover: Naraka, Blade Point, and Tomb Raider crossover.
Nice.
We'll take it.
Fair enough.
There's then an SNK collection, Fatal Fury, City of Wolves. So new SNK game coming out. There was then a mech game, which was Mecha Mayhem, Mecha Break, which didn't really look amazing. Monument Valley 3. I need to play the original 2. That looked good.
Brilliant.
Very cute.
I like puzzle games, so that is definitely
Those
my
might
alley.
be one of the only games that I played on a mobile.
Yeah, it's one of the few good games on a mobile.
And the big one we got, of course, was Civilization 7 announced.
Oh, yeah.
Like looks good. We stayed for the gameplay reveal after the show, and I'm personally really excited. Like it was actually very, very funny watching this with Elle, because Elle knows absolutely nothing about Civilization. So when Burr and I were like, "Oh, you could go up rivers," it was the funniest shit, because I was just like,
Yeah.
"What?" But yeah, no, I like the thing that I find very interesting is it seems Civilization 7 seems to have taken a lot of cues from Humankind, which was the 4X released by Amplitude Studios, who are known for the Endless Space, Endless Legend games. They're very much into the 4X, and they were the main revolutionaries actually of the genre, because they play in a very it's still turn based, but everybody takes their turns at the same time, kind of thing. So you can't have a hot seat game. Fuck. Uh, but they've made a lot of pushes into the genre, and Humankind was their game. It was the game that they used to push into Civ space, kind of thing. It was like, we're doing a game of guide this civilization from from the dawn of time to the end, to modern times, kind of thing. And quite a lot of the stuff I saw in Civ 5 I was looking at and going, yeah, that's taken from Humankind. They're taking notes from there, which I really like. I really like games that look at their competitors, see what they're doing well, and go, okay, we'll have that. We'll have that. I mean, that's how World of Warcraft has stayed ahead of the game for so long, because they have been keeping an eye on competition, kind of thing. And
I do like the. Sorry. Good.
The thing about the main, I think the main changes for Civ 7 that I noticed is you're no longer choosing one Civ to go through the entire game with. You're now Civ choices now are gated by age, kind of thing. So if you perform the correct unlock criteria, you can choose a different Civ. So like you've got some Civs. So for like the ancient era, you'll have like um you'll probably have stuff
Rome
like
or something.
Babylonians, Rome, Egyptians,
Sumerians,
stuff like that, yeah. And then
Scythians.
for another age, you'll have another set of civilizations, and then another set, and then another set, which is really good, because as they were explaining, like for Civ 6, they've had to balance the civs so they were good throughout the entire game. Now they just need to balance them in small batches, kind of thing, against each other, which I think is better, and also allows for a little more variety as well. So now they can make lots of little civs all over the place.
But your leader is separate from it.
But your leader is separate and goes
Yeah.
through the entire thing, which is
You
quite
can
interesting, actually.
You can course correct if you've messed up something in your previous age. You can choose a different civ and try to be better in the next era.
Yeah, because if you're getting like if you're trying to go for, I'm gonna guess for like the victory conditions will be the same. Like if you're trying to go for a cultural victory, but everybody else is starting shit in your backyard, you might pivot to a more military focus. And I quite like that, because it's a little bit of like strategical maneuvering around. Also, another thing that I do like is they've kept the stylized aesthetic, because the one thing that Civ did used to do was move in the first 5 Civ games, you got more and more realistic kind of thing. You got to Civ 5, and then where it was the most realistic it could be, and then Civ 6 was a pivot where it became more like you know those old maps kind of thing. They would scribble little dragons in the corner and stuff like that. It was a lot more cartoony, a lot more very aestheticized. Fuck that word. It looked much more like maps and stuff like that, more aesthetic. I remember this being like a big thing when it was
Yeah,
announced.
it was a big controversy.
Yeah, there was a big controversy about it. But I'll be 100% honest. If I had to choose between Civ 5 and Civ 6 now, I go for Civ 6 just because it's more charming.
Yeah.
And I really like that Civ 7 is leaning into that kind of thing. It's very beautiful from what we've seen of the in-game stuff. It's gorgeous. It's still keeping that stylized look, but it's just
Ultra realism often dates a game very badly. Stylization never kind of gets dated because it already being stylized.
I mean, Civ 5 still wasn't like very ultra realistic, but Civ 6 was a move into more stylized, more cartoony graphics in comparison, and that worked really well.
Yeah,
especially with a map which looks
I mean,
gorgeous. Like,
with all respect, this is the game where Gandhi shoots nuclear weapons at people.
Yes, yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean,
come on.
Yeah, but
love that glitch.
That's also time cherished a bug that is being repeated and will keep on forever.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's more the case of like if you line Civ 5 and Civ 6 next to each other, Civ 6 just looks better. It just there's more character to it than Civ 5. Civ 5's like, yes, I am the thing, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, darling, but you look boring.
And I have Civ 6 on my Switch.
Hey,
so I've got that going for me.
We then got into the Rev 8 being released for Starfield along with the DLC announcement of Shattered Space. Fair enough.
I'm still astonished they're still looking after that game.
I mean, power to them that they're doing it. I think it's also worth praising that because we don't want to see abandoned games here. So I think that's worth.
I think that's what Bethesda is now doing. Their policy is now sticking with the game through thin and thin.
I will admit, I will give Bethesda one thing. They did improve Fallout 76 very well just by sticking with the game. I'll give them that. It's not what I would consider a No Man's Sky turnaround, but I'll give
it's playable.
I'll give respect where respect is due. I mean, that's the only respect I'll give them. But
they might have been inspired by the case study of No Man's Sky, where it skyrocketed at one point.
Maybe
when it got better. So they might have thought, maybe it will pay up in the long run. And I feel like they might be doing that to Starfield.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe we'll see that. We then got Marvel Rivals announcement for Winter Soldier and Captain America. In my opinion, the most wholesome moment in the entire event was Tim Miller, the executive producer and creator of Secret Level, coming onto stage to announce.
That's so...
Yeah, the anthology series Secret Level, which is coming to Amazon. There was a video when we encouraged you to look at it, and him trying to fight back tears for bringing his pet project to life was quite a sight.
Also charming.
Yeah, it's just you know somebody loves. That's a passion project when they just can't, and I'm just there. It's just like you could do it. I believe in you.
Yeah. All those moments, like the guy that was showing Yanni when he was
oh my god,
doing Unravel.
The first Unraveled, yes.
Like
and
when Ikumina,
his little hand shaking.
Yeah, he was shaking. Or like Ikumi Nakamura from then making Ghostwire Tokyo, where she was doing all the song, and I was like, it's spooky. That was so charming too. I love those moments.
We then got a trailer for Age of AI. Sorry, Mythology. Sorry, it's slip of the tongue.
God, I was I was so excited for that game and figuring out that and finding out that they were using AI for stuff and just looking at the god portraits themselves. Like even if it comes out like no, this isn't AI, we actually we got a real person to do this. I just be like, you have stripped all of the charm and the wonder out of the old portraits and just made them generic. It's so upsetting.
Yeah.
Like the new Bast painting has gone from a cat goddess, like her head is very much a Egyptian Mao, but like melded to the body of a woman, as you would expect. And now it's just like generic cat head on human body with symbols on her dress which are not Egyptian. So which is why people think it's AI and not, and not like a humans put their hands on it. It's just so fucking boring. Come on.
We got a sizzle reel for Delta Force. Seems to be a new shooter that's coming out, more tactical shooter. Then Kingdom Come Deliverance, which to me was just like the music that was just sold it to me.
Typhoid Simulator, yay!
It just wanted to be. It's fine. It's fine. Then of course there was some more Hoyoverse bullshit. With some, I think it was Genshin Impact. I honestly couldn't pay attention.
Yeah, they all look the same.
Or Star Rail. One of the we say who cares, but really there'll be people who cares. We apologize. We just weren't invested. Then they have the thing I was interested in, which is the Arkham VR game.
Ah, yes.
Shadow of Arkham, I think is what it is, or Arkham Shadow. Looks pretty good. As someone with a Quest 3, I'm definitely gonna be picking that up.
I need to get a Quest 3.
May I suggest something that just came to my mind when you said Shadow of Arkham? You know that Warner Brothers has the patent on the Nemesis system.
Yes.
What if they release like a Shadow of Arkham game in the style of Shadow of Mordor, but in Arkham, where the Nemesis system is applied to
I would love that.
The rogue gallery.
No. I wouldn't say not the roguelike. I'd want it to be applied to like the heavy, like the henchmen, the mooks. Yeah. Like not like the low level mooks, like the high level mooks. Of the henchmen. That'd be fun. They won't do it though because that was Warner Brothers.
They're cowards.
And they're cowards.
Yeah. I mean, we do know they didn't patent it so that they can use it. They patented it so
no one else can use it.
Yeah, now they've probably forgotten they own it, to be quite frank, because they probably sold it as a tax write-off. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We then got Little Nightmares 3 trailer and another trailer for a game called Herdling, which I thought was quite interesting.
Oh yeah, you heard creatures.
Yeah. And then someone looked into a mirror and said, Molyneux, Molyneux, Molyneux.
Yeah, he was like, we're bringing Peter Molyneux. And I was just like, why would you bring the devil? Like, people joke about lying Todd Howard, and like, yeah, okay. But like, Todd speaks more truth than Peter Molyneux has ever done in his entire life. Like, if you need a devil for whom speaks only lies, it is Peter Molyneux. Like, I'll not deny that he is the creative lead of some very, very interesting, very good games. But my God,
this one.
Never let that man talk.
Masters of Albion. Go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I disagree with the fact that Peter Molyneux is a liar. No, Todd Howard is a liar. Todd Howard tells the truth when it's convenient to him, but on all other cases, he lies on purpose and knowingly. Peter Molyneux just says what's in his head, but because he has almost no grip with reality, it's all lies, but he doesn't know it's all lies.
It's still lying, though.
Still lying.
Would still give you conflict for that.
I'm also gonna just say, Masters of Albion. It doesn't look very good.
No,
it looks shit.
It looks like it's trying to be too much.
It looks like a stream green light game, and I mean that with full offense.
Squid Game, the game, it's got announced as well, which we got some trailer footage for that, and some Unknown 9 Awakening trailer as well, which looked very good. Very on board with that. Then, of course, the final bit was Arena Breakout. Then we had some talk about Warcraft and the 30th anniversary coming up, and some Diablo stuff. What else did we get here? And there was.
Well, I think actually Mist is enjoying. I make terrible noises about World of Warcraft, but I think Mist's enjoying the new expansion.
Which is fair. I'll just think that we didn't really touch too much on it. There was some interesting game where you set up a like a world in the sky, which I thought was amazing. I can't unfortunately
was
get
it that little Animal Crossing game?
Yeah, like Animal Crossing, of course.
Yeah, that little cute thing.
Yeah. I'll pick it up. And then, of course, the kind of the big blowout, big send-off, or the penultimate game, was the announcement of Indiana Jones. Well, not the announcement, but the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
That
Sorry?
looked really good.
Yes. More gameplay, and also the revelation that's coming to PlayStation 5 in spring 2025. Which
I can't wait for you to play that, L, so I can watch it.
I'll be playing it in December on PC, so you're lucky that one.
Birthday present.
Birthday present. The final, one more thing at the end wasn't big for me, but it would be big for a lot of people, and that is the Mafia: The Old Country.
That surprised me. I was like, huh, okay, interesting.
Yes, a Mafia game set in the 1900s, which I had a little thought after it, which is thinking, because I think it's set in 1909. Sorry?
You had an apostrophe.
An apostrophe, yes.
So run up
I think
to
you mean
World
Epiphany.
War I era.
Yeah, well, I think they said it was 1909, but that's the thing, or 1910 or 1911 or something like that. Right up to World War One. But what really kind of got me thinking is crazy to think that this game takes place nearly 2 years after the original Red Dead Redemption.
Dang.
Yeah. Because of course the timelines. What do you think of the Old West? You think the Old West was a lot further back than it actually was? When actually, no, it's not. And yeah, so that was very interesting. And going to into the Old Country, into Italy. I'm interested to see where they go with Mafia: The Old Country.
Yeah, when you put some historical timelines together, some things are whack. There was still woolly mammoths walking around, I think in Cleopatra's time or something. It's just what? History is wild.
History is weird, because if you think about it, at the same time there were Wild West cowboys, samurai, Victorian England was a thing, and French pirates.
Yep.
All at the same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
As I think, because we tend to compartmentalize history when we realize, no, history was happening. A lot of things in history happening at the same time. And it's crazy.
I mean, I blame the school books, because we got the history compartmentalized for the purpose of learning it. And we see it as completely separate things.
Yeah, I mean, the Byzantines were knocking around for ages and ages, if I remember correctly. I mean, they were still around when the Moors were punching Spain in the face, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I mean, no, that was the time when Spain was punching Moors in the face back, because Moors were punching Spain in the face when Charlemagne was around.
Oh, I can't remember. Did Spain start the fight? I can't remember who started it.
No, it was there was the kingdoms. There were the kingdoms of the Visigoths, the remainders of the Roman Empire. Mm-hmm. But from North Africa, the Moors came in because the moment Islam was invented, they immediately went, we're taking everything. And they took over Spain. And Charlemagne said, no, we're not having the non-believers on our flank. And they started the Reconquista.
Yeah. Charlemagne was like, you could take Spain, but don't you dare come the fuck into France.
Around that time, around the 9th century, they started reconquering Spain. And they were doing that for 700 years.
Meanwhile, on the east, the Mongols are taking absolutely everything until the Polish were like, could you not, please?
No.
Yes. history is amazing, and it kind of is interesting. It kind of segues into our topic for tonight of history in games, because I wanted to talk about this, and that games often have like their marketing be like, oh, we are being historically accurate in this, and I feel like that is good, but I think also a lot of people take it out of context or take it to an extreme, and then use it to make certain arguments which are not valid.
Yeah, can I cross the very obvious hurdle here?
You may.
And I'm going to say quite a lot of times, people will complain about historical accuracy in the same games that have dragons, centaurs, and and orcs and all kinds of things, but they will lose their fucking shit to see either guns, wheelchairs, or women in the game, or black people,
Or minorities,
people of
yes.
color. Sorry, and these will be the same people. And can I just say, shut the fuck up? It's it's fantasy. Your historical accuracy stuff doesn't exist here. I'm sorry, unless
I mean,
unless the creator is trying to invoke a certain period in time, it don't matter. We can have guns if we want. We can have magical guns if we want. We can definitely have disability accommodations. If you're going to complain about wheelchairs, complain about glasses, complain about ear horns and stuff like that. No, you're not complaining about them. Just shut the fuck up. That's it.
Yeah.
Wanted to get the obvious
Not-
hurdle out of the way.
Not just that, but like, oh, so your guy has a scar and is missing an eye.
Oh yeah, he's disabled.
Yeah, but that's fine, is it? You know,
Yeah, that's fine.
Because that's the cool disability. That's the sexy disability.
okay. I mean,
Oh
I didn't.
yeah, you know
I-
what's also really sexy? PTSD. It's not actually sexy. Don't.
No, I'm just like thinking where you're going with that.
Yeah, no, I went straight for like, oh, he probably has PTSD. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Not.
But now that you said that, I would really love to see a game that tackles those subjects as mechanics, like a war game, sort of like Hoi 4 or Europa Universalis kind of game, or even like Total War game where your troops can have shell shock, can be demoralized because of dysentery and such.
Wasn't there a little bit of that in Valiant Hearts?
Yeah, but then again, Valiant Hearts is like more like a funny educational game. So yeah, they were doing a lot of that.
This
But
is
that was not the mechanics. That was sorry.
Okay, finish your thought.
Yeah, there was not the mechanics in that game. That was part of the narrative, which doesn't take away anything from it. That was really brilliant game, and I love Valiant Hearts. But I meant mechanically, like when you have to, like it really impacted me very strongly in Battlefield 1. That was the only good part of Battlefield 1 was the first mission when whenever you kill, you get shown this bird's eye view over the battlefield, and your name is shown, and it says like George Thomas lived from 1898 till 1915, and you play as another character. You die, and for him also with the music, like with like the somber, sad music, like another person died. You get the date of his life, and another. That was really potent. That was really powerful. That's the kind of shit that really, when you mechanically build in some strong message, it really works well.
No, I agree with that. I've expanded it because I didn't really think we'd get on to talk about this RPG because it's a similar kind of topic, but I do actually agree with you about it, and it's one that I feel very strongly about because whenever you bring up the subjects about wheelchairs, especially wheelchairs or physical disabilities in RPG characters, you always get someone saying, okay, one, why does someone want to do that? Because why would you want to go to an escapism and represent your disability in that escapism? my argument is thus: one, someone doesn't have to do that. Every disabled person is different. They might want to get away from disability, and yes, they can create a character who isn't disabled. They also might want to do the opposite. They might feel that's a part of who they are and want that to be incorporated into their character. Neither is bad at all, and that everything is valid. As for the wheelchair, and people saying, why can't it be like a magical wheelchair? Why can't it be like a legged thing? It can be those things, but also let the player decide that. Don't force that upon the player. If the player wants a wheelchair, as long as it's, if it's, made out of wood and all that lot, it can work. We've seen dwarves make some very complicated devices. A wheelchair, I don't think, is a complicated device.
Like, for as far back as Burr will have to correct me if I'm wrong here. For the Han Dynasty in China, people were using hand carts to get around, kind of thing. A wheelchair is like the most basic of accessibility tools there is.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to give an example. It's not from the game area. It's from book/TV show. In Game of Thrones, Peter Dinklage comes to Winterfell in the first book. I mean, Tyrion Lannister comes to Winterfell, and there's a character, Bran Stark, that is crippled because he's thrown out the window. And Tyrion builds a wheelchair for him, and no one bats an eye. And everyone's like, "Yeah, this is cool. This is really awesome."
Yeah, that's the thing. And though I think where people get caught up is the fact that these are adventurers, so the wheelchair's going to be a problem in adventuring, right? And people are going to like, oh, so all dungeons are wheelchair accessible, are they? Here's the thing, people. Here's the thing. When you three in my RPG, do I ever describe how you go up and down stairs?
No.
No, because it's not exactly exciting.
Unless it's important for that bit, you don't. You go to a place.
You go to a place.
Yeah, like you people have been reading my stuff as well. How many times? The only time that I explain when characters move from one area to another is when it's important. Like, I don't describe like they opened a door to walk out of the door, they shut the door behind them, they walk down the corridor to open another door, to close the door behind them, and then walk down the stairs. Like, it's boring.
That level of detail in a roleplay game would only incite the players paying too much attention to the doors.
Not
what's happening around them.
Yeah, so it's sorry, Elle, I'll let you go in a minute, but I just wanted to say, like, it's a very important story beat in that you only describe what's important to people. Now, there can be some caveats, especially with role playing, but if you describe something to a person, they're like, why are you describing that to me? If I describe a route, like, in a story, like, a lot of the time I will just be like, they're in a room, they're in this place. When I start describing a room, like I describe, like, there's tables stacked over here, or there's chairs stacked over here, there's an open, like, utility cupboard over there, people get an idea of the room and they're like, oh, okay, this might be useful later, kind of thing. Or they get an idea of it, kind of thing. That solidifies in their head that this room is important, we might either come back here or there's something here we need, kind of thing.
It's another thing is like, if you're a GM and you're purposely having your wheelchair character enter a dungeon saying, well, now you got to deal with stairs, I'm sorry, you're being a dick. It should be assumed that either one of the players carries the wheelchair and the person down the stairs. It doesn't matter how it happens, they progress through the castle. If they're in a hurry, you can then make it like an obstacle, in which case the strong guy picks up the wheelchair and the person up the stairs they go. It's not difficult. I used to have a astromech in my parties. We used to have gags where he would be, stairs, my nemesis. But I never used to make it a deal for him. It's just a case of, stairs, my nemesis, joke, haha, screen wipe, he's up the stairs. It's not difficult,
Yeah, I've heard games where people are playing as centaurs, and as you can imagine, ladders are kind of an issue for somebody who's got 4 hooven feet. But don't be a dick about it. Like,
I mean,
you can play it up. You could be like, well, how do we get past this situation? This is a down, but then you can get through it. There are ways to do it. It's not the end of the world. If you make it the end of the world, though, DM, you're a shithead. Stop it. That's not towards you, Elle. That's
no, of course. Quickly go back, because I got some more thoughts to add to this.
No, no, no.
Oh,
The only comment I was
No.
making is that for a centaur, even going down the stairs is a problem.
yeah.
I mean, it's still easier than going up a ladder.
Yeah, I played Nastromech in an RPG, and you carried up me at the stairs once, Miss. It just, we found a way around it. It wasn't a big deal. It was literally like, you carry up the stairs, boom, done. It's not difficult, and even if you wanted to have that comedy moment, you don't even need to have that scene. You make sure it rings out correct to your character. What you don't want to be doing is punishing the player for the choices they made as a player character. Like, same people who I've heard of who punish people for playing goblins or tieflings, and like,
I just have to say, if you were gonna if you're gonna punish people for doing that, why did you let them choose the character at character creation? You dumb fuck.
Now, that being said, that's not saying you can't have challenges. Burr and Shadow would know this as being Jedi characters, but they know exactly what they were getting themselves into when they chose to be Jedi. I made it quite clear to them that, what the world is like, and that they didn't have to hamper their powers in any way.
Yeah, like 90% of the time, it's not an issue because we're doing something else, kind of thing. Just every now and again, things get a bit dicey, or we have to think a little bit more about our choices because reasons.
Yeah, so I really just like this whole narrative that you can't do it. Or even they're saying, like, well, how can you fight in a wheelchair? Hey, if you've been in that wheelchair all your life and it's an extension of your body, you can move that thing. And not just,
Have you, like, people
the
who are like, well,
opening-
how... I think you're probably going to say what I'm going to say, Lemmy. Is it wheelchair rugby?
No.
Ah.
The opening sequence, or the opening level of Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus.
Yes.
You are murdering Nazis with a machine gun in a wheelchair.
I will also say, if you have ever, like, for people who are like, people with wheelchairs can't move like that, please find some footage of wheelchair rugby. You will have your mind completely changed. You will go there doing what? Like, these people are vicious as fuck. They will destroy you. They move fast. They don't give a shit, kind of thing.
I was thinking of another similar thing, because there's also such a thing as wheelchair fencing. Which is even closer to wheelchair fighting.
Which, people say, oh, but they're athletes. It's like, so these are player characters. They can be. And also, people say, oh, well, okay, well, how come magic doesn't heal that power? Well, let's see. Maybe magic doesn't work like that in this universe. Maybe magic heals you up to a certain point. Maybe you're cursed, so you can't just heal this thing. Or maybe, I'm sorry to just suggest this, but maybe it's an anomaly. This person's been to the best mages in the land, and they can't figure out what the fuck's wrong.
Or maybe they didn't get healed in time before the disability became permanent.
Yeah, there's many ways to explain it.
Maybe you have no one in your party that can do it because you have a battle mage and a fireball doesn't heal that.
So I'm just gonna.
Yeah, exactly. People might not specialize in healing magic.
So I'm just gonna say out there, any GM who can't come up with a reason why that can't be cured within their system, you're unimaginative and you should be ashamed.
Yeah, come on.
Or you're doing that on purpose and you're even worse.
You're a dick at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to have this conversation, but here we are. Yeah, setting aside fantasy scenarios in terms of fantasy worlds like that, where historical accuracy doesn't really come into play at all. Let's talk about historical accuracy as in terms of video games today, because the one that spurred me on this topic is Assassin's Creed Shadows, because they are trying to be historically accurate to a point, as in like the world, but there's no evidence to show about for the character is for the sake of argument, the character is what's his name, Yosuke? Yosuke.
Yeah.
He is not proven to be a samurai. He pretty much has everything bar the fucking title, so he might as well be, but sure, he's not a fucking samurai. All right, let's just take it for what it is. I mean, if it quacks like a duck, it looks like a duck, and it swims water like a fucking duck. Are you going to tell me it's a fucking dog? No, it's a duck. But, so what? The point is that when I feel like a lot of developers make the mistake of saying historical accuracy, and they open themselves up to criticism when there's anything that deviates from that. Anything that deviates from that point.
And notice that the deviations tend to be if it's about women, people of color, or people of the LGBT.
Yeah.
Very strangely, it's these three groups of which, you know, people have the most and get most annoyed
Yeah.
about. And I'm sorry, and I'm so
Very
sorry
surprising.
to let the people know queer people and people of color and women have existed since the dawn of time. They've just used different words. Like no bullshit. In India, there used to be three genders: male, female, and then people who I can't remember the actual name for them, but there used to be a neuter gender where they basically didn't they were non-binary essentially. Now I'm probably getting this extremely wrong because I am half remembering all of this, but it was three. They used to be just three genders, just naturally existing in Indian society until the British came in and we ruined everything as we always do.
As we always do.
But that was the thing.
Sorry.
Colonialism alert.
Is that the colonialism alarm?
Yeah.
Oh no! There are people in Native American tribes today actually who are, I think they're called,
Two souls.
yeah, two souls who are of a different gender to male and female as well. It's been around for years and years and years. They've just gone under different names, or it's been described differently, or there have been like two men in a there've been two men as close as brothers or really really good friends just living together as friends do,
They were
sleeping in the
roommates.
same
Yeah.
bed like
They were
friends.
roommates.
They were roommates.
Yeah. Of course, they're roommates.
Roommates.
But yeah,
Also people of color have been around for fucking forever. Please stop with this thing of like there were no black people in Tudor England. Go fuck yourself.
yeah,
Where the fuck do you think the slaves were? Well, one, where the fuck do you think the slaves were coming from? But also there were civilizations in Africa at the same time. Like if I remember correctly, who's the guy? Who's the guy who crashed his own economy by
Man's not his own. He crashed a lot of North African and European
yeah,
economies.
Mali. That's it.
Mansa Musa from the Mali Empire. Yeah.
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 The Mali Empire was going around trading
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
There's people from the Islamic faiths and other places like Morocco and stuff. They were traveling around in Europe at this time as well. Like people going back and forth.
Yeah.
Like don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, during the time that we had like the Crusades and discoveries of the New World, there was very intense travel and commerce between the Arabian Peninsula, Western Africa, India, and China. There was a lot of sea commerce going there. So there's a lot of history over there that we don't know because people who say things like that, they're very like Eurocentric, and sometimes not even Eurocentric, America-centric.
It's you.
mm,
I tend to find it tends to be American centric because one thing I do find about Americans is that they are extremely isolated inside their own country. Like, not very many of them have passports at all. Like, you will barely find any that have crossed out of their country, kind of thing. And I think that has kind of affected how they view the world. Like,
I just want to kind of get onto like another point here about historical accuracy, because yes, I do agree with you, Shadow, that we see it in Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 5, where I think in 5 the main cover star was a woman in a very lovely trench coat, and then people arguing about that, and there was even like someone with like a prosthetic, and people say, oh, they weren't prosthetic people in,
oh,
in
for fuck's
and
sake.
it's like
The prosthetic things make me so cross.
yeah, which my point is like this is a game about
Fucking pirates!
it's not just that, it's all about this game is about trying to put yourself in this game, and you're supposed to be able to create yourself and put yourself in there if you want to. That's going to provide options, and yeah, if that requires sacrificing a bit of what people perceive to be historical accuracy, which isn't even historically inaccurate, so be it. Especially when the accuracy comes to weaponry, and even then they can't be consistent. Lemming, my friend, would you please give us a bit of history, if you can remember it, on the Colibri pistol, also known as the Hummingbird?
Oh, the Calibri!
And it appears in Battlefield 1. I'm sure they were given to the front arms for all people, were they?
Oh, yes, indeed. They were a standard issue in most militaries at the time. The most pistols these days are 9mm, so quite a wide, chunky bullet. The Calibri is 2.7mm.
It's tiny.
It's a grain of sand. Yeah, it is. It was literally designed to see how small a production automatic handgun could be.
Also, it's like the noisy cricket.
Pretty much, yeah.
Except it's not as powerful.
Not as powerful.
Nowhere near as powerful. At least the noisy cricket can blow something up. This thing is hurling rice at people. It's in Battlefield 1 as a joke because it takes a bit to unlock it, and then each bullet does 2 points of damage.
Yep.
I will kill you eventually.
Yeah. Your health pool is 100. You will use all of your ammunition before you kill somebody. The only way to kill somebody is to shoot them with something else first, switch to the Calibri, and then shoot them.
So are you saying that it actually was historical accurate that people actually be wielding these in the front lines?
No.
Exactly.
Nobody in any sort of front line would have been using the Calibri as a weapon of war. It was designed for self-defense at best.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a lot of guns and equipment and things that are in Battlefield 1 that were only in the
experimental phase, and
experimental
phase,
it's like, or used by 3 or 4 people in the whole war.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the thing about Battlefield 1 is it's set during World War 1. 95 to 99% of all firearms issued to infantry during World War 1 were bolt action. Now, the only problem with that in a Battlefield game is bolt actions would be boring. Because it's all bolt actions. You shoot somebody, 1 bullet, they die. If you want that, you play the game Verdun, which is a realistic World War I simulator of the Battle of Verdun. 1 shot, 1 kill, that's it. They have to balance it like a Battlefield game, so you have submachine guns, heavy machine guns, bolt action rifles if you're a sniper or support class. The fact that there have to be a large amount of submachine guns means they use a lot of prototypes. Weapons that were never actually fielded get added to the game as a way of padding out the weapon selection.
Yeah.
Which is why you get a lot of really weird ones.
Or ones that appeared very late in the war, like the Browning M1918. Which again, that you only saw fielding in the very late part of the war. Or yes, as we said, were experimental machine guns.
There's one really weird one that has 2 magazines.
Yes, I remember. Which they point up, don't they?
They're side mounted.
Yeah, the V engine.
They're the Mazda MG, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to have them in, or else the weapon selection would have been boring as hell.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is they are, and to be fair, give them credit. Those guns are accurate to how they work and how they appear. You know.
Oh yeah, they did a very good job in actually making them like authentic, and that's the thing I use that's the word I use in comparison to realistic. It's authentic. Like, it doesn't have to be completely realistic. It just has to be authentic to the actual, authentic to the spirit of what you're trying to do.
Because I do feel that a lot of games fall into the problem of saying historical accuracy, meaning accuracy in one particular area, but then people applying it to everything and then complaining and then using it to pick holes in things.
Yeah, it's like the Ace Combat games. The aircraft modeled are authentic. They're realistically modeled in that they look like the real aircraft, but I wouldn't say the game itself is realistic because modern combat aircraft don't fly with 150 missiles.
Nope, absolutely not.
That doesn't happen. They don't reload in midair. It's physically impossible.
It's just a little bit excessive. That would be a lot of missile pods.
Yes.
Just a few.
Yeah, but the game would be very boring if after shooting 6 missiles you have to land and restart.
Yeah.
And sometimes games are historically accurate because they're trying to prove a point. Like example, the one I point to the most is Mafia 3, which is extremely historically accurate to how you would be treated as a black person in the South during, you know, during the 60s, what was it, the 60s? Yeah, the 60s, 70s, when at the height of the civil rights movement. That game and I think the point of the game is to make you uncomfortable. But just as well, you could have a game set in that same era and not have that historical accuracy because that's not the point of your game. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just feel like, you know, people look at historical accuracy as this thing that we must attain in games, when I feel like, no, it is like an art style. It is a style and a type that you can attain, but that is it. It is neither good nor bad. It depends on your design.
Yeah, but Shadow was absolutely right with the fact that, you know, your accuracy serves a particular point, and people who are really assy about that, they are very cherry picky about that.
They are very
What
cherry
yeah.
picky.
is accurate and what is not.
I mean, hell, look at, I think it was Modern Warfare 2, the most recent Modern Warfare 2, had a level called the Highway of Death, where they feature, they say it's where Russians killed lots of civilians along this highway. And you could say that that entire narrative is trying to rewrite history, because the Highway of Death was something America did to a lot of Iraqi troops during the first Gulf War.
See, that's a danger when
Switching the narrative here.
That's a danger when games become kind of very propagandist in that manner.
It's like,
Yeah.
you can switch history around to form a narrative. They use historic references, historic ideas to form their own narrative.
You have to be very careful when the US military is involved. Let's just say that.
I mean,
the coalition in 1991 forced Iraqi army out of Kuwait. The only route they were taking was one long highway. What do you do if a still fighting capable army is going down a highway? You hit the front, you hit the back, and then you wipe everything in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
That's pretty much what Ukraine did to some Russian troops.
To a lot of convoys, yeah.
What do we feel about a responsibility to history? Because when I say that, is another criticism leveled at Shadow is by I do think disingenuous arguments, but I will posit it as an actual argument for the sake of debating it. Do video games have a responsibility to maintain historical accuracy in terms of events?
Depends what they're doing.
Yeah. Like, if you are attempting a game that retells a historic event or a historic moment, then that in itself should be historically accurate. That should be, this is what's it's motivated around. This has to maintain accuracy, because this is what it's all about. You can't just rewrite history and say we think it happened that way.
Yeah, and if you have to deviate, you make those deviations known up front.
Yeah.
I would. Sorry. No, go ahead, Shadow.
No. You can
No, go for it, Beth.
I just want to say that games are beholden to, in my opinion, to keep historical honesty, not necessarily accuracy. Because if you want to keep historical accuracy, I mean, if you are not a scientific publication, if you're not a historical book, you don't have to keep historical accuracy. You can adjust it to serve your narrative, to serve your gameplay, to serve what you want to tell through a game.
Yeah.
I do think people appreciate an effort being made to keep it as historically accurate as possible, even if you don't need to, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It shows a care for the craft, kind of thing. Like I'll pick a very I'll pick a tangent as hell, but like Outlaws L, like the way it um it acknowledges that some things have happened like in the time period, like the way it will bring up certain things like Carl Catan, for instance, kind of thing, and have the way it sets him. It gives implications that it's setting up for dark forces, kind of thing, and that shows that somebody's done their research, that they've really looked into something and woven
Yeah.
it into the tapestry of their game. And people do appreciate that when you show an effort to represent something as honestly as possible.
The reason I asked the question is because Ubisoft has come under criticism on Assassin's Creed Shadows, where some are citing that they are attempting to, quote, rewrite history of what happened in the events in the game, when a lot of people are arguing, but this game isn't attempting to teach you history, it's attempting to
No.
use history as a backdrop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I will give respect to Ubisoft in this particular manner. They're not trying to tell history. They've never professed to be retelling history. The Assassin's Creed series is putting fictionalized versions of characters into historically dubious settings.
Actually,
They've never professed to be historically accurate.
But
actually, what I want to give regarding what I said about historical accuracy and historical honesty, and regarding Ubisoft that was trying to also retell or teach history in a way. Because I don't know about Valhalla, but for Origins and for Odyssey, there were additional mode, which is the museum mode, where you travel across certain maps. You have certain maps where you have places, you have points in which a lecturer will tell you about historical elements
But that's
of
not the
that of
but that's not the main point of the game, is it? That's an optional.
no, but if I may finish,
Oh, okay, sorry.
so the Assassin's Creed games have always been very historically inaccurate, very lenient with like fantasy aspects. You fight the Pope who has the first civilization artifact.
fist fight the Pope.
You fist fight the Pope in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You hunt the mythical beasts from the Herculean labors. Like you fight the Hydra, you fight the Nemean lion, the Cretian bull, etc. You fight all kind. You have all kinds of things that were not really how it happened, not really what it was, and that's fine. The game doesn't have to tell you this is fictional, this is not aligned with history. This does not have to be accurate. But in those modes, in those museum modes, there is one thing that I remember pretty well. There is a part where it is shown that children of all genders are being taught by a tutor, and the description from the game and the lecturer says that we are showing here in the spirit of modern sensibilities that all children, boys and girls, have access to education. However, this is not accurate to the times where only boys were learning things. But we wanted to be more modern in what we're showing here. So whenever this deals with actual historical information, with actual historical honesty, they do say what is what, and they want to explain themselves. But whenever the gameplay is involved, whenever it's just a game, they are not they do not have to do that. They can do all the artistic license can just go.
Yeah, that's exactly the phrase I was going to use. They've never hidden the fact that they're using artistic license.
Yeah.
I will say it sounds like we're bumping up to the same problem that old movies and TV shows are starting to collide with, which is the sentiment shown in these old films and stuff like that do not represent the sentiments that we show nowadays, kind of thing. And it's kind of the halfway house of, well, do we leave this media alone, kind of thing, or do we like put a warning on to say, hey guys, like what, like be careful,
Yeah, I,
this is
and
a bit troublesome in here,
I
kind
think that's actually very interesting. I've always believed there's no wrong answer to that
of.
because there isn't a right answer. You know, either way, you're either covering up history or you're letting it rely, but then that's then potentially upsetting people. I think that
Yeah.
it's a difficult one.
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, I would be like, leave the original media alone because it's archival purposes. But
Exactly.
also, if you want to put a thing in front of it saying like, look, the shit that goes on in here ain't too cool. So it's not the things that you will experience is not what we believe now, kind of thing. But at the same time, I think I do think you don't have to, and that might get me some flack, but hear me out here. I think a lot of people have become quite used to the the way of reading things online, especially fan fiction, which gives you warnings before you read a piece of media. Now, if you look at any book in a library, you will not get warnings for shit that happens inside the book until you encounter it, kind
Yeah.
of thing. And I think people have become maybe a little too used to the warnings being held up front and then sort of expecting it in real life. Now, I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing necessarily. I can understand wanting to get a heads up if you're about to collide with a potentially triggering subject, kind of thing. Yet at the same time, I think there needs to be some acknowledgement that this is a relatively new thing that's happened in society. So you need to be careful, kind of thing. And it's not entirely a case of I need you to do a thing for me, kind of thing. You also need to take responsibility for what you're looking at, kind of thing. And I understand that I'm taking this in a completely different tangent from what we were doing, and I apologize.
No,
But
it's valid.
I think people also need to understand that the problem people need to understand that you have to take control of the stuff. You also have to curate the content you look at, kind of thing. You can't just like bumble into you can't just bumble into, I don't know, like uh a fucking like kink party and then just be like, why are there people with their dicks out here? It's like, bro, you
I
walked into
I don't actively go and watch a horror film because I know I don't like horror films. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like going into a horror movie. Like it's like me going into Alien Romulus and going, I don't like Alien. I don't like a horror movie. Why are you playing this? You walked in the fucking door,
Now,
dipshit.
it's not wrong to say I want to give this a try, but just understand that you are then setting yourself up for, you know, you're
Yeah.
making that choice. And you are right. There should be some more responsibility in terms of what you consume and a knowledge of like, okay, this was made in the 1950s. It's going to have 1950s values in there.
Yeah. I do think though, I think Ubisoft should have stuck to their guns.
How do you mean?
In a real world, they should not have had to explain themselves.
Oh,
They
yeah,
should
absolutely.
They should have just said, "This is how we're doing it. This is how we're telling our story. Go fuck. If you don't like it, go. That there is a door. Leave." Kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it.
Yeah, it's just like, but I mean, I can understand why they felt like they had to explain themselves, but in a perfect world, they shouldn't have done.
Didn't need to.
They should have stuck to their guns and just been like, "Oh, okay, you have a problem. Well, it's our story, and we're telling it this way."
I mean, the thing and the problem I think here is that the greedier you are, the more you want to get out of the game, the more of a coward you will be.
Oh yeah, when you just stand for money, you stand for nothing really.
Yeah.
Like you'll do anything to get them. You'll do anything to get that thing. If it
Yeah,
means
and
apologizing and if it means apologizing and canceling a very very important show, they'll do that. But
which is why I am absolutely certain that this whole apology and this whole explanation that they sent, no one from the development team wrote this. This was written. This was required to be created higher up.
I don't even think they did apologize. Like they kind of said sorry, not sorry in kind of the long form of it, which
yeah,
is
exactly like they didn't exactly apologize for it. They were more explaining themselves.
Hmm.
I think preferably they should just not have said anything. To be
Yeah.
quite frank, because now the grifters have got something to tear over and go kind of thing. But like, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. They're gonna whine anyway. You might as well just fucking ignore them. Just
Yeah.
put them on mute or something. Just like.
Yeah, absolutely agreed.
I mean, for fuck's sake, there was a guy complaining about bricks and screws in Star Wars. You can't fucking win, mate.
Yeah, and his name and his handle was Star Wars Theory.
Yeah, I theorized that he should probably get a lobotomy, but that's just me.
Andor is now this marvelous thing that is amazing and should of course it got a sequel. Which I wouldn't. And again, I'm not going to say let's not shit on Andor. Andor's a good show.
Andor is a very good show.
Saying about the Acolyte, I do think that we might see it re-emerge. I don't think. I think we will.
I absolutely hope so.
I hope so too. But we shall see. And I think in the long run, Disney will eventually learn, but we'll see. Yeah, I have to hope as well. We all have to hope. I personally think we're very pleased with the talk we had tonight about historical accuracy. I believe that we've made it quite clear that using the term without clarifying what you mean by that is dangerous.
Yes.
And that developers should make more of an effort if they're going to say we're being historically accurate to make sure that to qualify, like we're being historically accurate in how the guns perform, or we're being historically accurate in how society views your character because we want you to experience the racial tension of this era, things like that.
Or to use Lemming's phrase, we are being historically authentic.
Authentic, yes.
Rather than accurate.
I think that would be a better approach because people don't read long sentences like we're being historical accurate in regards to something.
Yeah, they just see historical accuracy and then run with it. I do agree with you. Yeah, however, I still think they'd find a way to misinterpret authentic as well, but that's just me.
Yeah,
totally.
but it's a little bit difficult to do that with authentic because authentic is a more sort of like greyish word, if you understand my meaning.
I get you.
Also, I saw people. I was just gonna say I didn't have a chance to say this, but I will just say I saw people complaining about the new art in the D&D manual about people eating tacos.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that too, which I thought was very weird because it's because apparently it's not because Lemming. It's not showing people doing the fighting and the things, you know.
Well, it was partially that. No, I didn't. I saw that one, but there was somebody else going, well, why are they eating tacos and sushi? That's not the right food. That's not historically accurate.
It's a fantasy world.
Yeah, and somebody also...
And everybody likes tacos.
I've never had a taco, so, put it in. But I will say,
nice.
like, somebody pointed out against the people, like, why is everybody being represented around, like, socializing and stuff? Yeah, if people kept showing the combat as it plays out in games, people would rapidly realize it's very uncomfy.
Yeah, kobolds, yeah. Killing sentient creatures, yeah. I mean, to be fair, also, isn't that kind of what D&D should all be about? A bunch of friends around a table.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Also, we'll go back to the food. Have you guys seen me in the recent Outlaws videos? Just gasping over like the culinary stuff, information I'm getting that I can throw into my universe.
Like, oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes, give me more, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
As Drifting says, how dare people have fun, right?
I know, right? No, they got to have fun the right way, Shadow. That's the thing.
They have to have fun my way. And my way is
Something that-
difficult
that's
and
really-
mean.
yeah.
My way is difficult and mean and has no wheelchairs.
Boring. And everybody's white. And boring.
I'd be more than happy if everywhere was ramps.
Yeah.
Just
I look no. I'll be like really honest as an able-bodied person. I much prefer walking down a ramp than I do walking downstairs. I'm sure Burr like really prefers ramps, honestly.
But no, people making disingenuous arguments. It's not fun. Quite frankly, it's pathetic. If I'm honest, boring. You're being disingenuous. Historical accuracy. You're applying a very blanket term across an entire game, and doing stupid things. Or that's the thing. A lot of these arguments people make is they're very broad things, so broad that you can't argue against it, or that you try to get them to narrow it down, and they can't narrow it down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, oh no, sorry, go on, Burr.
just wanted to say that maybe open a completely new discussion. So I don't know if you wanted to like add to the previous one, go ahead, because
Oh, I was just gonna call them weirdos for having
they
it
are weirdos.
with
I mean,
disabled people. So you know.
yeah, because what I wanted to say is that historically accurate game are very rarely like inclusively fun, and by inclusively I mean they're not fun for a wide audience. They are fun for a select few. So for
Yes.
example,
niche.
like they're very niche. I'm not even saying about like very hyper realistic submarine operator simulators that like
Verdun
couple hundred
has
people play, but
Yeah.
like Lemming mentioned, Verdun or Kingdom Come Deliverance that has a lot of very accurate things like in Itegium, where after sundown suddenly it's completely dark and you don't see anything. So in games you never have something like and at night you can't see anything unless you have lantern, in which case you see 1 meter in front of you and nothing else.
Yeah.
Or in Verdun, like Lemming literally said an hour ago or so that Battlefield had to make the game more fun for everyone, because when you die from one shot, that's fun for a select group of people.
Not for everyone.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place for us to wrap it up for tonight.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think we've covered the topic quite well. So thank you much for joining us here tonight, everyone.
I'll just say something. It's not about historical accuracy, but it bothers me so much.
Go on.
Torches do more than just that narrow beam of light. They're very bright, actually. They're not just a little cylinder of light. They're actually like a wide thingy. That's how light works. It's not just this little.
Yeah, because
I know it has to be like that for horror games, but it bothers me so much now. I've noticed it. Okay, I'm done now.
Oh, I agree.
All right, cool.
Please.
We're gonna end it there. I want to thank, of course, my co-hosts. The show wouldn't be what it is. Well, to be fair, if I said the show, my life wouldn't be what it is without them. So I want to thank, of course, Burr.
Europa Universalis 4.
I want to thank Lemming.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Of course, Shadow.
Hello. I mean, bye, I guess. I'm here.
Thanks for being back. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bonsoir, mes amis. Bonne nuit. That's it. I forgot the French. Goodbye.